I have been thinking about the line between carefully analyzing your situation and overthinking, and at what point it becomes a problem, so to speak. When are we doing the correct amount of thinking, and when are we creating an abstraction of reality that sabotages the the real reality that we exist in? When are we thinking so much and so hard that we create something that doesn't reflect the actual situation we live in, and we base our decision on this abstract reality instead of what's really happening? When are we when are we hurting ourselves by thinking too much? And this is something, if you're like me, this is something that has plagued you your whole life. I kind of get these obsessive thought patterns where something enters my mind and it ruins my day and it takes over and causes me to spiral, and I just can't stop thinking about it, even though I know it's useless. It's not helping me at all in any sense, and I would be better off if I could just not think about it. But this is not the reality we live in, where you can just tell your brain to stop thinking and it does that, or we would do that all the time. We would never have any real thoughts because we'd always be focused on not not thinking at all. We would be, if we had the ability to turn our brains off consciously, we'd be kind of like a turtle and reside in a shell of ignorance because it would be the most comfortable thing to do. And I really do believe that. I think if I had the ability to turn my brain off, it would be detrimental to my life because I would sit in a room not thinking every day. And that's scary. I mean, you can kind of see this in yourself or others through through substance abuse, you know? I'm sure we all have people in our lives who do not like the reality as it presents itself, so they attempt to distance themselves from reality by drinking or smoking weed or whatever. And I'm sure a lot of us have been in that position. I know I have. I used to smoke weed every day, and it was a detriment to my mind and to my productivity, but I worried a whole lot less, and that was a very good feeling. I liked worrying a lot less. I liked not caring about grim realities. I liked not obsessing over problems in my personal life to the degree that I normally do. Um, it was great, but it was also dulling me. I was sitting in my shell too long, so to speak, and it was dulling my mind. And that's why I think if I really had that ability to retreat on command, it would be abused like any other substance. And I don't like that. I really wish there was a healthy medium to this problem. I wish there was a way to regulate your own thoughts and not completely turn them off. But obviously that doesn't exist. So on the opposite end, we have underthinking, which can be really, really helpful at times and really detrimental at others. And the scariest part of this is trying to decide when you are thinking, when overthinking is in use and when underthinking is in use. When is the monkey brain the the more important side of our psyche? When is it time to not consider everything fully and just jump into a situation, which I can't say I have as much experience with as the alternative. I in high school, I had this girlfriend. I actually had multiple girlfriends where this happened, where I wouldn't text them. I would stare at their contact information on my phone, and I'd think, should I text them? Should I reach out? And I'd be like, well, they probably don't want to talk to me right now. I shouldn't reach out too much, which led me to reaching out to maybe once every week or two to this person I was supposed to be in a relationship, or these people I was supposed to be in a relationship with. And in the long run, it really fucked me. It ruined these relationships. And only in the future, when I learned that lesson and I stopped thinking, oh, should I kiss this girl? Should I text her and ask her how her day was? When I stopped thinking when I stopped considering these things and I just did it, it got a lot better. But is this true for every situation? Or is it only true for a handful of situations in which thinking is not the important thing to do, but doing? Is doing always does doing always triumph thinking? Should we always be focused on what we're doing and not worried about what we're thinking? I really don't know the answer. I really don't know when we should think and when we should do, and what the healthy in between is. Like all other things in life, it requires this wisdom to know which is the most applicable. When one thing is applicable and when the other is. And that's not something that's easy. It's not easy to know when you should think and when you should do. And I wish I had the wisdom to make it so it was. I don't know how to say this without sounding arrogant, but I really think there is an advantage to not being as intelligent, because these things don't cross your mind. You almost never overthink anything. And obviously that comes with its own downsides. You don't think important life decisions through, but at the same time, you're not tormented by you don't understand that making decisions with limited information can negatively affect you. You don't even think about that. You just make the decisions. You don't worry about not being completely informed, which is something that I've struggled with recently. Especially, I've wanted to understand the world around me so badly, and it feels like there's so many angles to look at everything from. There's so much history to everything, to every school of thought on every single issue, and no matter how long I try or study, I will never really understand these issues from every angle. And that makes it hard to pick a side on anything. And that's not to say I don't have sides, but it makes me very scared to claim something when I know that there are people who have studied these things and know them, and I'm just some novice in this field. How do you make any kind of decision when you know that you'll be making it on limited information? I think that might be the basis of this overthinking, is that philosophy right there. How do you make a decision when you don't know everything? And this simultaneous information that you really never can know everything. It's upsetting, to say the least. But if you knew everything, you'd probably be really miserable. You'd probably be incredibly, incredibly miserable. So I really do wish, instead of knowledge, which is not as... Knowledge is important, but I feel the more that I know, that I understand of the world, the more it haunts me. Which is some cognitive dissonance, because I do want more knowledge, even though I know in the long run it's going to make me miserable in certain aspects. Um, I really, what I really want is more wisdom. I want to know when to apply aspects of myself in situations, because that's what wisdom seems to be. Wisdom isn't some book of aphorisms or something like that. It's knowing when to apply what to what situation, and I wish I had more of that. I don't really know where I'm going with this anymore. Um, I wanted to talk about the line between thinking and overthinking, and I think I kind of missed the mark on that, because I don't think I have much to say about regular thinking. I feel like I don't do that. I feel like all I do is overthink. I feel like in my personal life and in the thoughts about the macrocosm around me, it really feels like all I do is think about it too much instead of just doing. I wish I had more to say on underthinking, on animal brain, but clearly something is missing in my animal brain. I said something earlier about having lower intelligence is helpful in not overthinking, but I think that was the wrong way to say it. I think a better way to think about this is this, right? So I had the thought one time that I'm sure a lot of people have had, that we only agree on an objective reality because it's very useful, because it makes us understand each other, even though there's no real way for us to have a consensus on the world around us, because we all are reality is built on our senses. Our idea of reality is built on the world we sense around us, which means that there can be no truly objective reality, and we believe in this idea of an objective reality because it's useful. It helps us to understand each other, and when we can't understand each other, we can't work together. So reality itself is this kind of utilitarian ideal. But then I thought, cavemen didn't, or primal men didn't have that idea. They never even thought of the fact that what they were seeing might not be reality. They just acted. They had this purpose. They knew that they had to find food, that they had to reproduce, that they had to protect the things they cared about. And that was it. That was life. There was no question of what it is, because these kinds of thoughts hadn't really evolved yet. And would we be better off if that was the case? If we don't question everything constantly? Is questioning, I mean, I obviously you should question things, but where is the line? Where is the line? And it just seems like the line is not knowable. That's how I'm feeling. The line is not something you can intuit for yourself. That's how I'm starting to feel. You know, it just occurred to me that the irony that this whole video is kind of overthinking. That this is kind of a manifestation of this problem of a thought that just keeps swirling around and grows to be more than it's worth. And that's a little bit funny. Having thoughts that you know are detrimental to your life, and you still just can't stop having them, is really miserable. And this is not a woe is me, it's whatever. But when I am sitting in a fit of anger or despair or whatever, because there's some retarded thought that I just can't let go of, that I just can't, no matter how much I want to, no matter how much I keep telling myself, I need to stop thinking about this, I need to do something else. I try to watch a movie or play a game or distract myself, and it's swirling in my head, and it won't get out, and it's all consuming. It really is intensely frustrating. And I wish that wasn't. I wish I didn't have to deal with that sometimes.